So, this covariance is a is a number that measures how two variables, random variables x and y jointly vary in some sense, alright. So, this variance is defined only for one random variable x, right, and it captures how much of a variation around the expected value the random variable has. This covariance is defined for two random variables x and y, and it captures this. So, definition, the covariance of random variables x and y is defined as expectation of x minus expectation of x, y minus expectation of y. Okay. And if you simplify that, you get expectation of x y minus expectation of x times expectation of y. Assuming, see, this definition is assuming that all these are meaningful, right. We have to first, this is makes sense only if expectation of x y has a meaning, and you should not have a situation where this is infinity and one of these guys is also infinity, right. You should not, I mean all that in all those cases it is not defined, right. If this is infinity and that is infinity, right, you cannot define the covariance. So, this is defined subject to everything being well defined, the expression itself being well defined. Okay. Okay. So, this is the covariance. So, this is again, so this expression is more useful in computing covariance, whereas this expression gives you better intuition on what the covariance is actually doing. Okay. So, let us say that x and y are random variables, of course, they are on the same probability space. So, suppose that x and y have the tendency, for the time being let us assume that whenever x is bigger than the expected value, suppose that y has the tendency to be smaller than the expected value, right, then you will have a term that is negative, right. And if x and y tend to be both on the same side of the expectation with a greater probability, either both greater or than the expected value or both smaller than the expected value, then you will have a positive value for the covariance, right. So, in that sense it captures the joint, the expected joint variation in some sense, correct. If I tell you that x is, if whenever x is takes a large value bigger than the mean, then y is also likely to take a large value, right, greater than its mean, then you will have a positive covariance, right, and similarly in the negative case. Okay. So, that is covariance. Any questions? Definition, x and y are said to be uncorrelated if covariance of x y equal to 0, i.e. expectation of x y equal to expectation of x times expectation of y. So, if the covariance turns out to be 0, okay, so this could turn out to be 0, right. In such a case x and y are said to be uncorrelated. Okay. It is a new term you are learning. Okay. So, x and y are said to be uncorrelated if covariance is 0 or x and expectation of x y is equal to expectation of x times expectation of y. Okay. Now, theorem, this is an important theorem. If x and y are independent random variables, they are uncorrelated. So, this is an important theorem. Okay. So, independent random variables are always uncorrelated. So, if you take two independent random variables x and y, expectation of x y will always be equal to expectation of x times expectation of y. Okay. Now, so I will prove this theorem. Okay, it is a very important theorem and it is a somewhat non trivial proof. So, the one thing I want to remark before that is that the converse is not true. Okay. If two random variables are uncorrelated, it does not mean that they are independent. Okay. So, independence implies random variables are uncorrelated, but not the other way around. Okay. So, which is stronger independence or uncorrelatedness? Independence is stronger, right. Okay. So, remark, the converse is not true. So, can somebody tell me why the converse is not true? How will you prove that the converse is not true? So, how will you prove that two random variables uncorrelated does not imply that they are independent? That is what is given to you, right. You are given that they are uncorrelated, you have to show that it does not imply independence.
It separates, the condition is met.
Some
Constant. So, you want to take constant random variables. So, then what? So, both constant random variables. So, if two random variables are both constant, the sigma algebras they generate are simply omega and phi, right. So, are they independent sigma algebras? They are, right. So, they are also independent, that is a very trivial case. So, two constant random variables are independent right. So, that is not an example. Same, then they will not be, if x and y are equal, by the way you get variance, right. So, you have to cook up it is not entirely trivial, right, but there are some easy examples to show that. So, consider, so there are many examples you can cook up, but consider x uniform in -1 to 1. Okay. So, uniform random variable in -1 to 1. We can show that x and x square are dependent, but uncorrelated. Okay, so, this is, if you produce one example it is enough, right. So, I am just considering a random variable x which is uniform in -1 through 1 and then say y equal to x squared. Okay. So, in that case I mean I think you will be able to very easily show that x and x square are not, when you nobody will believe that x and x square are independent, right. So, you can actually explicitly show that if you want you can compute this, you compute the joint distribution of y and x, right, and you will very trivially you can show that they are dependent. However, they are uncorrelated, right, because so you say y equal to x squared, covariance of x comma y is equal to expectation of x y minus expectation of x times expectation of y, which is equal to expectation of x cubed minus expectation of x times expectation of x squared, right. You can see expectation of x is 0, right. So, this term is definitely 0 and x being symmetric around minus 1 and 1, x cube will also have a, you can prove that x cube also has 0, expect this term is also 0, right. After all, this expectation x cube is simply integral of x cubed half dx, isn't it, from minus 1 through 1, this is expectation of x cubed, correct, that is clearly 0. So, this is also 0, right. So, x and x squared in this case are uncorrelated, but dependent random variables, okay. Okay, so I think I do not have the time to complete this proof, or maybe I will just start it. Okay. So, I want to, well, I am going to prove this, right. I have proven that the converse is not true, I have to prove the theorem now, right. Proof of the theorem. So, I have to prove that if x and y are independent, they are uncorrelated. How do you prove it? PDF, but who says x and y has a PDF, right. Expectation of x y is integral x y dp, right. Correct. Again, right. So, this is a theorem you would have proved separately for discrete random variables, proved separately for jointly continuous random variables, and then blindly accepted it is generally true, right. Now, you are going to prove a general theorem, which is why I said it is a non-trivial theorem, right. So, if you have density, so if x and y had a joint density, you would just evaluate those two things separately and show that, oh, it holds, right. But x and y may not have a joint density, they need not have a PMF, right, they may not be discrete, one of them may be some singular, another may be some mixture, right. Even in that case this holds, okay. So, how will you prove that? By now you should know, right. How do you prove anything in integration? Start with simple functions, right. So, suppose x and y are independent simple random variables. So, I have x has a representation sum over ai I of ai does this representation, and y has sum over I equals j equals, let us say j equals 1 through m bj I of bj, okay. In this case, can you prove it? So, in this case, so x y, right, x y will be what? Sum over x y will also be simple, right, it will be sum over I equals 1 through n, j equals 1 through m, a I b j, indicator A I intersection B j, correct. Suppose I mean these are, let us say, in canonical representations for the sake of to fix ideas. So, this is your expectation of, so this is your x y random variable itself. So, expectation of x y would be, so this is a simple function, right. So, this will be I equals 1 through n, j equals 1 through m, A I B j probability of A I intersection B j. So, now what can you say? Now is the key step. See, after all, A I, see what is A I, right? A I is the event that x is equal to, correct, and B j is the event that, correct, fine. So, now this A I and B j are independent events. Why? X and y are independent random variables. So, this will product out, correct. So, this by independence, so by looking at this you can say that these two are independent events, right. So, this will be equal to A I B j P A I times P B j, right. So, now the A sum and the B sum come out, right. So, you can take the I summation, this only has i's and these two have the j's. So, now it products out easily, right, and what you have is the expectation of x times expectation of y, right. So, this you can show, okay. Yeah, expectation of x times expectation of y. So, we have shown it for simple random variables. So, we will complete the proof next class. Now, what do you have to do now? Approximate x from below using simple functions, then you would have proved it for non-negative random variables, and then finally you have to do x plus x minus y plus y minus, then get the result, right. Okay. So, tomorrow we are meeting at noon, okay. There is a change in the timetable, isn't it. So, tomorrow there is an exam. So, 12 o'clock is the class right here.